Hello and welcome to another PC Time Capsule video. Today we're looking at Turok Evolution, looking at the Xbox version and of course the ill-fated PC version that you might not have known actually existed. And of course, talking about this today, I'm joined by my friend and colleague John Linneman, who's over there on that Xbox version. How you doing there, John?
I'm doing pretty good, Alex, at least as well as one can be doing when they're playing Turok Evolution. And the thing,
Yes.
So as usual, this is a video that's going to be for fun, so not deeply technical, but we are here to look at some rather amusing differences between the PC and console version of Turok Evolution, because boy, I did not expect the PC version to be quite like this.
Yeah, I think you can already see that something is not right here.
Yeah, let me just look straight ahead, yeah.
Yeah, but let's talk a little bit about the PC specs, just because obviously I'm doing proper era correct hardware here. This game came out 1 year later on PC. It came out originally in 2002 on the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, and the GameCube. And then 1 year later, I think at the end of September in 2003 on PC, and only for EU territories. For reasons I can only imagine. As you can already see, there's some differences with the way these dinosaurs look. And I'm running this on a Pentium 4 3.2 gigahertz, which is more or less period correct. It came out a little bit afterwards because it's LGA 775 version. And I'm running on a Radeon 9800 Pro.
All right.
Which is definitely proper for 2003 and a really great GPU, I would say, for the era. But here's one of our first visual differences.
Yes. The environment map texture is missing. On PC.
On a PC here, and it just looks completely different. I'm running the game at 800 by 600 with 4 times MSAA because it actually runs pretty fine. It's like 60 FPS more or less, rather often.
So yeah, this was a big project for Acclaim at the time, right? Because Turok had been very successful on Nintendo 64. They had 4 games, I think, on there, and Turok 1 and 2, I think, are quite good. 3 is interesting. Rage Wars is its own thing, but the franchise was well regarded. Turok Evolution was in development for quite some time, as far as I know. And, well, the result is this. And fundamentally, as we'll see, and now we're doing a little comparison here, the game loses a lot of what makes Turok interesting.
For sure. Oh, my goodness. There's a lot of reasons for that, but just look at this difference in this scene here. One of the big differences we've noticed already while doing the comparisons ourselves is that the PC version seems to be lit very, very differently than the Xbox or even the other versions of the game.
Yeah.
Just like look at the Stegosaurus in front of us. On PC is like full gray, almost like it's unlit.
Or the trees.
Or the trees. Or I mean the water shading is completely different.
Let's go look at the water. Well, first of all, if you look at the Stegosaurus on Xbox, you actually get a nice projected shadow.
None of that on PC. Shadows were the dinosaurs pooping.
Oh yeah, they'll do that sometimes.
Wait, I need to shoot this guy up here.
What? I can't even tell who's firing at me.
It's the guy up on top on the ridge there.
I see. So I wonder if I can knock the tree on him. Oh, it didn't work.
It worked the last time we played this.
Yeah. There we go. We got him.
So, I mean, one difference is obviously Xbox is 30 FPS. That's one difference, but it's kind of...
I want to talk a little bit about the design before we continue with the visuals, because so the game opens with you in this sort of little map area, right? The objective is to run up to this top of the spire and obtain that key thing, right? So the problem here is that what you're seeing in this area is basically the first map.
Yes, it is.
Right? Now, see, it cuts the camera. It shows that the thing now opens up and you can continue. In normal Turok games, the levels are very large and very open for exploration, where everything is divided up into these small little sections. So once we go through that door, which we'll do in a moment, the game has to load the next map. And it kills that seamlessness that the originals went for. And it's also, the atmosphere is just wrong. Like having a bright blue sky without the scrolling cloud layer. And also the way they do those distant textures on the rocks. They
look almost
awkward.
untextured as a result.
Yeah, right?
It's like the MIPS are completely wrong or something like that. Yeah, we can actually continue into the next area, but let's
Let's look at the water actually.
let's
up
look at the
close.
water because
So
it's it is quite different.
it's not amazing looking on Xbox, but at least you can actually see like this flow texture here where it's an animated texture to show flowing from the waterfall. It's blended with this other texture here, which is also an animated surface, and they're both transparent. And when you go underneath, they do this full screen sort of post-process warping effect, which is cool. And PC does retain that, but if you look at your PC side,
Like, just look at the way the water. It's like they have two transparency layers there or something.
actually,
and
hold on, I almost got it here where I was in between.
Oh, you could
two.
almost get it doing it.
Look. No, I'm in between them, so you can see the two layers. And
there we go. I got it on mine too. You can see the alpha, like the level of alpha is completely wrong or
it's
different
wrong.
on PC. I think it's just wrong because
I think
it
it's
just
wrong
looks-
because when you
just
go
looks-
underneath, it should look like this.
you don't even
and
see any of that on PC.
You just see that it's bad. Like it's meant to blend better. And also above the water, if you look at that, I don't think you see that flow map, that other
No.
texture. So it
Zero
only
of
appears
that.
when you're underwater, and then when you do, it's basically opaque. So that's another thing that's just wrong about it. So yeah, you look out over everything, you're missing all the shading on everything, so all the PC stuff looks full bright. And by the way, as we'll see, this is not the worst area for this.
No, this is not. So actually, let's continue onward. There's a couple. Obviously, there's a couple other things we can probably mention soon enough, but let's just go ahead. We're going to be ambushed here, so be careful.
Yeah.
Baddies.
Well, so I should note that we are using cheats on this, so that
we
can
didn't
just,
want to die.
so we don't have to pay attention to it. We're here to just look at graphics. Also, the controls are not good in this game.
Oh my gosh, I can talk about the PC controls soon enough when we get to the next area because they are special, to say the least. They are special.
Ooh. Okay, so let's head on in. By the way, look at this health pack real quick on Xbox. Oh,
Too late.
you can still see it's very cool looking on there. PC does have one advantage though: loading. It's fast.
Yeah,
It's
super
very
cool.
slow on the consoles. And well, it's not that bad, but it's not fast when you consider how every stage is broken up into these small chunks like that.
Mm-hmm.
And right away, check out this scene.
Yeah, so for some reason, and I'm not sure what is exactly causing it on PC, so the lighting looks different in general. It looks desaturated, but a number of objects look full bright always. They don't ever get any lighting. So on Xbox, you can see like that torch there, and it's lighting up the stalactites and stalagmites. On PC, they're just pure white. I have no idea why. I couldn't even fathom
They're
it.
using that old school fog, but it actually looks somewhat correct on Xbox, and you kind of get the impression they're trying to give you the impression that it's spilling into the cave, right? It's a cheap effect, but it's there. And on PC,
None of that.
It's not really there at all. So it just looks weird. Also, look at those bones in the door. Look at this.
like,
oh my gosh, this is the best yet.
like I said, like they're
What
full
on
bright.
earth?
As I played later in the campaign, there's a lot of this stuff that ends up happening. I'm playing with 800 by 600, by the way, 4 times MSAA. I have no idea what the Xbox is running, but it looks pretty clean.
I think it's just 640 by 480 res. No anti-aliasing as far as I can tell. Like Xbox games didn't really use that much. Although, I mean, it does look weirdly clean though, doesn't it?
Yeah, like look at also your weapon here when you get close to the torch. Like mine, like if you spin the camera, it like stays more or less the same color, but on yours you get this almost garage shading style.
Yeah, you
going
can see
on
it
there.
illuminating the vertexes on that model actually.
Yeah, but it doesn't really do that on PC. It's just like very generically colored, like almost like colored by the zone it's in.
Exactly.
Instead. So weird how stripped bare it is.
It's really ugly.
Okay, so I'm gonna kill some velociraptors and dinosaurs. So this version of the game on PC is not made by Acclaim directly.
No, that's right.
It is made by a studio called, let me see here, I think I've got it written down. Yes, Super Happy Fun, also based in Texas. I had never heard of the studio before.
I'm not sure about that name.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the name. I don't know if it really applies to the games, but they made games like Return to Dark Castle for the Macintosh, Alias, like based on that television show, if you recall.
Wait,
some other stuff.
they did Return to Dark? No way.
That's apparently that's what I read online.
Whoa!
Can I
okay,
believe the internet? I don't know.
I'm fascinated by that. All right, you should come up here though.
Yeah.
This area is my favorite.
Yeah. So on PC, as you can tell, like so many things are set to full bright, and there's no shading. Like
Go forward a little bit more.
Like the light. Yeah, got some Velociraptor love here.
Look at this.
I don't know if you can even express it. It's like trying to look like a moody jungle, which I actually think it almost achieves on the Xbox with like the fog and stuff, but there's no fog on PC.
Yeah.
The sorting is broken. The alpha is set to a wrong opacity, and it just looks weird.
Yeah, their way of doing sun shafts is to literally use this sort of transparent, flat, like sunlight texture, which was very common back then. And I think, it's a reasonably effective solution in this case. But on PC, it's not. That looks completely wrong. It's way too bright. Also, the illumination on these ferns here is just unbelievable. It's completely missing on PC. So it actually does look like Trespasser.
That's what I was comparing this to visually. But Trespasser even had like bump mapping, like rudimentary CPU-based bump mapping. Oh, this doesn't have that kind of stuff on PC.
No.
That's way too advanced. You have a pistol already. That's something that's weird about the Xbox version. For some reason, it starts off with different weapons.
Yeah, the other versions don't do that.
Yeah, we already tried out the PS2 version.
Yeah,
which
it's not. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So if we continue forward here, this is one area where literally every version of this game has a different water. The water here, first of all, on Xbox, you get this environment map texture layer, right?
Not bad.
Kind of distorts. It looks a little awkward, but it works. And then the water, it uses sort of an animated surface effect that looks okay. It's not bad.
You see, it's just like a static texture, and it's like green and semi-transparent. I mean, I guess it's if they're going for that like low res look for a swap, it works enough. But if you compare, this is what John and I were debating before we started playing, like which version was lead, and
right.
I don't want to say it was Xbox based upon the fact that it has these unique graphical effects that we're not seeing on PS2 or PC, but at the same time it's like 30 FPS. I don't know.
It's hard to say back then. I really can't say without talking to these guys. Mm-hmm. But I will say, just playing this, one of the big issues that's immediately apparent, to me at least, is the weapon feel engaging the enemies. Because Turok was known for this. The original Turok still feels great in terms of the animation on your weapons, the way enemies react, the animation that plays back when you hit them. It's really smooth, and it just feels great in a way that this does not.
No, a big part of that.
And movement is bad too. Like it's very jittery and not like it doesn't feel good to move.
Check out when I move I'm gonna just show my screen here. Moving.
Where are you at? Are you by the tech bow?
I'm by the tech bow. We can take a look at the tech bow in a second.
Okay,
but I just want to really briefly mention the utter insanity that is the controls on PC. For one, the game always starts with the mouse being inverted. I mean, that's pretty rare for a first-person shooter on PC.
That's good for you, though, right?
No. I always play with not-inverted mouse. I know I play with inverted thumbstick, though. But then another thing is that it also starts with, and you can't actually adjust this at all. There's no way to adjust this. It doesn't apply to the Windows mouse pointer precision option, but there's so much movement acceleration. I'm moving the thing just like a mere centimeter here, and I'm already doing 360s and like 720s and things like that.
Whoa.
And I'm already playing with lowered sensitivity as well. The game starts with insanely high sensitivity. Another thing is, you might have noticed John has his HUD on. I don't have my HUD on because for some reason when you do like circular motions and you have the HUD on, they become really mushy and weird. Like it's like lagging behind your motions. When you turn off the HUD, that goes away. And I didn't learn about that through experimentation. No one would ever think that, but I had to read a forum post in German online from the year 2003 to figure that out. So to say the least, the game is completely, I would say, at an unplayable level when you just start it off. You have to like tweak the game so much to get it to feel kind of normal. And just look at that.
So check this out. So the Xbox version gets this exclusive environment map texture on the tech bow that makes it look all metallic. And, you know, maybe it's a little overdone, but I kind of appreciate it.
It's within tech demo territory of the time. It looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get that on PC. You don't get that on PS2. I don't think you get it on GameCube either, but you definitely get it on Xbox.
Like, it's not only, it's like, so there's no environmental map texture here on PC at all. It's just like a static texture, and there's also no shading on the hands. Like, it's constantly gray. Like, yours has that, like, nice orange sheen from the sun on it. In fact, the entire level looks orange on yours in comparison to mine, which just looks like gray-white.
It's very strange. So do we go up here, I think?
Yeah, we go up here, and we traverse the log.
The log. Oh, here's a health pack. Check it out.
Oh, yeah, let me jump back 1 second. There we go.
It's another example of this, and it actually looks really good on Xbox in this case, I think.
I'm getting like Quake 3 Arena vibes when looking at it for some reason. It looks pretty great. Nope, PC ain't got any of that. Don't have any time for that. I'm going to pick up some Tecmo ammo here.
So wait, I need to go this way, actually. Yeah.
So they do try and keep some things from the Turok stuff. Like, I'm going to show this off right here. I'm going to shoot at one of these guys. Oh, wait, maybe it doesn't do it with the tech bow, actually. Never mind. There's hyper violence in this game, to say the least. But, okay, so let me just jump across here and shoot at this guy. If you notice, there'll be like a small sparkle on the arrow that I shoot. And that's something that's straight from Turok 1. Which is weird that they left it in the game. That's where your bow does more damage. Oh, you can shoot down trees, which is kind of cool, actually. I'm a little surprised that they have that in the game. Like, I do wonder if there's cross-pollination between Turok Evolution and Crisis. Because in this game, you can walk into the bushes, and they move a bit, if you notice that. Like, I think enemies do it as well, too. If they walk into bushes, they cause, like, a little sway animation in them.
This is just...
You're having a good time there.
What we're doing in this game, like, it doesn't feel good to control. The level design...
You just go forward. You always just go forward.
I do get it in a way, in the sense that by 2003 or whatever, developers were trying to move the genre forward, and there was a sense that, you know, the old style... Oh, look at that log.
Yeah.
Oh, I went through.
I'm gonna freeze frame the last look of that because it looks completely different on PC. It's just hilariously unshaded.
Oh wait, don't move your camera. I'll stay right there. I want to see how this looks once the Xbox finishes loading.
It'll take a little bit.
Okay, so it does look... So look at the edges of the palm tree, the way... So that's a transparency filtering thing difference.
Yeah, like yours... I don't know which one's actually more correct, because you're getting
I know. It's like there's like some weird black edges on there, which isn't necessarily correct, but it doesn't really look good either way, I would say.
No, it doesn't look good on either. Even though I guess it's technically higher res on PC. Wow.
So that was another loading screen, right? So you've probably seen that essentially this game is broken up into these small vignettes. It's a bunch of tiny little levels with like a little objective. They're obviously trying to do something that's more, at the time, modern, like Halo or something, rather than following the Turok formula. And by the way,
look what
they're doing with this environment map texture. I don't actually think that looks great, but it is interesting.
It is like interesting for the time, but just look at what PC's doing. So not only are you getting like, I'm not getting any of that. I'm getting improper transparency sorting for everything. The waterfall, the mist, the layers. I have no idea. This game requires DirectX 8.1 as far as I know, according to system requirements. I haven't tried a card that's earlier than this. This card sports DirectX 9A or B, I forget. Probably B. And it's just not using any of those effects. As far as I can tell, there's like only like a handful of distortion effects in the game on PC, like when you scope in and things like that.
Oh yeah.
I have like...
Also, look at the waterfall itself. The edges are sort of like almost... It has like a almost Gaussian blur look to it on Xbox, but on PC it's just stark, like it's white edge.
I don't know. I think there's a hidden ammo behind there. Let's grab it. They do at least do have tradition. But
wait! Look at stand back and look at that. Look at the way the ammo looks when you're in front of the waterfall. Go back out. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, the transparency sorting. I mean, I can't fault them for that. Like,
I know
it's not
funny,
easy to do transparency
No,
sorting,
no.
especially on hardware of this time. It would just be like you're just not guaranteed it ever. But my goodness.
Also, this is pretty tough because, yeah, it is multiple transparency layers together.
On top
But,
of the transparency
yeah.
behind it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, but still, it doesn't work. Also, man, these walls, I really don't like the way they look. Like, it just, you see it looks like they use like old school vertex painting, where they kind of like color it in to change the edges, right? And then they just like slather like a monochromatic texture on top.
But like for you, it's at least shaded properly. I don't think the light maps are blending properly on PC as part of the reason why. Like, I do think the Xbox
Alex,
version looks...
the point is I'm not even convinced they're using like light maps. Like, I think it could be just like vertex painting, where it's like they color the vertices and then there's just like a monochrome texture on top. That might use like a lookup table or something to define the color value. I'm not sure.
Be careful about the crocodiles, by the way.
Well, we have God mode on, so it's all good.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about I had God mode. So, I mean, if there's one thing... Oh, that was weird.
Okay.
There's like green stuff popping up when I hit the ground here. Is that supposed to... I guess that's grass? Okay. So, if there's one thing I thought the falling trees are kind of cool. I definitely like that. I respect that. Let's see. I'm supposed to use the tech bow here, I think. They want you to zoom in with the tech bow. I do enjoy some of the enemy hit reactions. So like this guy, I just shot him with a poison arrow. He's gonna get on the ground there and vomit himself to death, which is, I mean, it is super hardcore. Like, look, he just vomited himself to death. They do try and keep some of the obscene levels of violence that Turok was known for.
Yeah. How's this look? Look at this this overlook here. If we compare it, the shading on the dinosaur,
let alone
and of course
water.
The palm tree thing in the back, that's just, or whatever kind of tree that is.
Everything. Like, the waterfall actually looks kind of pretty okay on Xbox, I think, but on like PC it's just like Mario 64 levels of technology. This is as best as PC could do, obviously, at the time, as we know.
I'm so baffled by this weird issue they have with that flow texture and the way it blends with the rest. Like, you see what they're trying to do, it just doesn't seem to function.
It just doesn't
correctly.
work at all. So, I mean, PC is just graphically completely broken. John's theory before was that essentially, like, this game came out 1 year later on PC, and you were saying essentially that
yes,
they probably just didn't have any budget because the game might have flopped.
Yeah, by then Acclaim was in dire straits. This was just before they would have closed down, right? And as far as I know, I can't remember the exact date, but things weren't going well. This game, they had a lot riding on it. It did not succeed in a big way, as far as I know. And the PC version came out late and only in Europe. So to me, it seems likely that they simply didn't give it the resources it needed to be a good port. So I almost don't want to fault the developer necessarily, because I'm sure they did what they could, but I suspect they were given a very small budget and super limited amount of time to create it, right? That's my guess. I have absolutely no idea what the reality is, other than we know that the actual end product is bad.
Oh, the end product is...
Oh my gosh. Good thing I get God mode on here, because this is
bambooed. Like, I just want to, like, in terms of... I just want to say, like, in terms of design, the first level here is really... I don't know if it's following traditions laid down by Turok 3 or something like that. But
no,
like,
it's
Turok
not.
1's first level... One thing that I was talking about John about, it's not just the controls that feel really great in Turok 1, and that's something that this game really, like, that Turok 1 nails weapon feel, nails, like, enemy hit reactions, nails all these things that feel really good to play that you can just pick up. But, like, the first level design is also simple but really enjoyable. It's introducing you to concepts, like, constantly, and here, I don't know what it is about it, if it's just the fact that it's broken up. It's just not appealing in a way that is, you know, like, anywhere also, along the lines. Oh, geez.
Turok 1 is a game about exploration, right? And one of the best things they do is you have this long first level, and then late in that level, they loop you back around, and you arrive back at a place you were earlier before you continue forward. And that's one of those like moments where it sort of tickles the senses. You're like, ooh, that's satisfying, you know? Like you recognize this spot, and now you're going a different way from there, but it connects it in your head. And I think that is really important to establishing the type of level design that they were aiming for. This, though, is just a bunch of bespoke maps. And by the way, look at the water surface on Xbox. It looks like point sampled.
That is weird. It almost doesn't. I mean, are there any point sampled games on Xbox for anything? That's weird.
I don't want to say that there is or is not because I don't know. But this specific effect they're doing here on the water, which seems to be an Xbox exclusive. The water is different on every other platform, which is that's a fun artifact of that multi-platform era, where every single version has a different looking water effect, right? Like, and often completely different textures even.
So like,
Look at see look, I climbed the wall. The vine texture looks bad. And the viewport just sort of glides up the surface.
So
right?
like, yeah, let me just show that again. Like,
yeah, show it again. Look at that.
Like that. Now I'm gonna show Turok 1's.
Oh yeah, see,
because like
look at
it
that.
looks way good in Turok 1, and like the nailing the first person camera feel, like the way it like bobs up and down in Turok 1.
The camera movement, like the animation of the camera, the way the weapons sway, all of that stuff was really well done. Like for when Turok came out, I'd say it's the best that there was in terms of that sort of stuff. Like even better than like the classic game like Quake, which is not great in terms of weapon animation and feel. I mean, the game feels amazing, but
weapon animation isn't that great.
Turok did that so well. Why is this such a step back?
I think it's just different priorities, because if you
clearly.
look at, like, one, like, we can talk a bit like theoretically about this, but I think there's like Turok was always a little bit about mimicking stuff from the time, but within the like the realm that is these lost lands and Turok Son of Stone and Turok Dinosaur Hunter. And it did a really good job in Turok 1, less successful in Turok 2, but you know, like Turok 1 is like a bit like Quake, and then Turok 2 is a bit like, I don't know, Unreal mixed with Metroid a bit. Also less successful than those games, I would say. Turok 3, as we've talked about before, John, I know, was very Half-Life. This one, it just feels very generic shooter from this era, and it does a lot of things and makes a lot of mistakes from shooters from that era do.
Yeah, this is a game that not to say this came out first, but this is a game that reminds me of something like Pariah, where it's just like, yeah, this game exists and you shoot things, but what you do is not great. I'll wait for you over here. Oh my gosh.
If you go past this first level, which we may end up beating right now, we're gonna. Oh boy! Look at the untextured look on the PC version.
I mean, it's pretty bad there too. It's just, I'm baffled by the choice they made in terms of distance rendering. Like, it's very strange.
I do actually like the fog though on Xbox.
Yeah.
Like,
not
I
getting
like
any
the
of that
on PC.
I like the sense of scale they're going for here, right? Like, I think this is cool. You can see, like, that's when we were doing that overlook down there, and you can kind of see where you were. Like, there's some potential stuff here that's cool. It's just that the level design itself is not great, and it's pretty visually ugly and unappealing too. So
yeah,
we got a stream here.
Yeah, another thing where like the water rendering on PC is just like, oh my gosh. They just nothing there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's almost abstract, like the abstract rendering of water.
It's pretty funny.
I think a lot of things that shooters from this era tried to do is they tried to be a bit more ambitious, epic, tell, like storylines that were contiguous, and they bring you through a world in a contiguous manner, something that Half-Life did really well. It's not necessary always for games. So like they tried to do it epically here by like the second level.
They sure do.
The second level is you like flying around on a pterodactyl.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get to. But that means like you had to concept a whole nother game type within your first-person shooter and spend the resources doing that instead of perfecting the aspects of the first-person shooting. And I think that competition for resources is one of the reasons why games from this era at times had issues, because they would have these separate levels where you have a completely different game type almost.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. I'm
loading
gonna
it up
sync
there.
these up right now so we can see what they look like.
It's got a nice shadow though on the Xbox version, I will say.
We ain't
you
getting any of that on PC, let me tell you.
If you've been summoned by the Seer, this is the fastest way to get there. Don't worry, I'll try to go easy on you. Let's go.
Oh my gosh, this is
Look at the difference.
It looks a lot worse on PC here. Like,
Yeah.
good lord.
It's so weird. Just none of that haze.
The
none of that
haze
lighting.
actually helps a lot, and the shading on the plants, it does make it look.
The water.
It looks reasonable here on Xbox.
Like the water has got like a material on it with like variable levels of transparency.
Yeah.
But on PC, it's just no transparency whatsoever. I'm warning you though, this level is not easy. Like I had a really hard time controlling the beast.
We're invincible.
Oh, that's what I forgot. That. Yes, thank the gods we're invincible here. They're not invincible.
Wow. So, but the thing is though, is like, I get what they're trying to do. It doesn't actually feel great in practice, unfortunately, like everything else.
No, on mouse this feels awful.
But it's an interesting idea because I mean, Turok 2 actually had rideable dinos, if you recall. But
less
it wasn't
successful area of the game.
Yeah, it's not my favorite part of that game.
No. Once again, like this is completely unlit on PC
Oh.
for some reason. Oh gosh, yeah. Like all these things, like a lot of
Wait. Oh, look, see, the PC loads way faster there at least. Now we're out of sync. Okay, we're back in sync.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So-
slow down.
One of the problems with this specific stage, though, again highlights how their engine can't seem to handle. It can't do level streaming, which was it existed back then for sure. And so it has to do all these loading screens, which I think kind of ruins the seamless nature of it. Like this would have been like post. I mean, stuff like Soul Reaver already did it on PS1. Jack and Daxter was out by this point and had a gigantic, much more detailed world than this, running at 60 FPS that was fully streamed.
Yeah.
But again, that's Naughty Dog, so it's a little unfair, I guess. But still, it's just you can see what was possible, and they're so far off the mark from that. And
shading on PC, my gosh. Sorry. Like,
wow.
dude, I know you're talking about
wow
like, level design and stuff, but like I just don't have any shading here. It's incredibly weird.
It's what? Slow down. Okay, here I'm back. That was.
I'm slowing my
Okay,
bird down a bit
I'm
here,
back,
so we're a bit
I'm back.
more synced. I think I slow it down by hitting S. At least it uses, WASD. Can't fault them for that. It's not going to be able to be shown in this video, but one thing I love about Turok 1 is the pickup and playability of it, and the way you can just kind of like... I mean, it doesn't have normal saves like you'd see in a PC game with like quick save and things like that, but it does have like a save system that's reasonable, I would say. Oh, yeah. Did you just die? Okay, I'll die then too, to make this
God
even.
mode does not work for this.
Talset has died. Yes, this is a prequel to the Turok Dinosaur Hunter, by the way. You play as Talset, not Joshua Fireseed. Your bad guy is Tobias Bruckner.
Tobias what?
Tobias Bruckner or Tobias Bruckner. I don't know how they pronounce his name, but he's a General Custard or a lieutenant. I forget the name.
Oh,
like the
wonderful.
Wounded Knee bad guy.
Yeah.
You know what he's like. Massive tones for that. Like, look at the shading on these rocks. You got nice shading there. I don't got shading on PC. We don't have time for shading. Like, the waterfall again on PC is just a straight up geo, like no transparency. Oh, it's so glorious. I love it.
What an amazing looking thing.
I actually think the Xbox version here looks pretty okay. Like,
Yeah, it's actually better than I would have expected. It's okay.
You have to shoot here to shoot the thing in front of us. But like I was saying, like one of the things I love about that PC version of Turok is just like the pickup and playability there, and you don't feel like you're losing progress that hardcore even when you die, because you've got that save system, you've got lives and things like that.
Also, the world is persistent. I guess that's the way.
Yeah, that's the way.
Where it's like essentially you save in your progress, but you can go back to any stage in the game and find things that you missed. and it has that exploration element. In this, it's just you're going through one tiny map after the other in a linear fashion, and it's not interesting.
No, and there's like tiny secrets occasionally in this game, like where you get a weapon a little bit earlier, but that's really about it. There's none of that like backtracking, looping, labyrinthian stuff that was known from the 90s. I think this is actually a pretty dark time for a lot of first-person shooters. Obviously, it became dark in a different way around after Call of Duty 4 came out, when a lot of games just tried to be that.
I would say 2004 was a really good era, though.
Yeah,
on the PC.
Yeah.
Well, and Xbox, because you had Halo 2 that year.
Yeah, right.
Because Halo was how to do this stuff, right? Halo was awesome.
Halo's so good, man.
And then you still had some carryovers, like Time Splitters 2, I think is quite good. And but that is trying to very specifically be like the N64 era, and it's pretty good at it.
I think it is too. It's like the graphical corruption on the waterfall in the background.
Yes, it's on both.
Did you destroy the stuff around the dam so that we can continue forward? Or
I did destroy the 2 turrets by the dam. How do we continue though? How do you open the dam?
I think the turret. Oh, you have to maybe. Did you shoot the airship? Yeah, you definitely destroyed the airship.
Oh.
Oh, you have to destroy the pillbox there to the left of the dam. You see it right there? You're targeting.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Okay. Then once you do that, we can continue onward because the dam will start opening.
I got it.
I have to turn around right here.
I'll slow down.
I'm trying to control this bird. It is hard.
He's going fast. I can't.
Don't crash, Jed. No. No. Oh gosh.
Oh, so this part he just goes down fast, huh?
I do like the flappy look of the wings though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad. Once again, unlit, untextured stuff all over the PC version here.
Okay, slow down. I'm coming. PC's one advantage is that quick loading.
Man, the water here just being a single, like, solid level of no transparency, though, is...
I'm having a good time going through this. This is pretty funny.
This is actually really funny. I'm happy that we found this game because I actually did buy a copy of this. You can see the copy of it right here. I also bought it with the later version of, Turok 2008 that we're definitely going to do a video on in the future at some point. Yeah,
for sure.
Because that's so fun. Oh gosh. Maybe we'll also ask Tim Lewison to join us.
I was just going to say that. We should ask if he'll join us for that.
I think he'd love to.
You could play on PC. I'll play 360 version.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. 360 version is the best version of that one, I think.
Oh, that's another one where there's like the PC version's missing stuff, right? Like this. This is ultimately missing things. I mean, it at least runs at 60
not that bad,
FPS.
But yeah.
You know, like I cannot fault them for that. I think but the mouse feel like today, if you release the game the way the mouse feels in this game, impossible. No one would play the game at all.
Okay, so where are these tent things?
They're the grayish build. Oh, on your they're not gray. They're like orange. They're the larger tents, like that thing. It's weird how they look completely different on PC. They're like gray and beige on PC. There's just no lighting in this game on PC.
Oh, I need it. Where are those balloons? There it is with the ammo.
Yeah, the way they give you ammo and health in this level is really funny. Like the health is like I think like dinosaurs or mules or something like that are like floating in the air.
I'm really curious where they got this idea to do like a bad Star Fox clone in Turok.
I want to say honestly, John, there was like this thing in this era of having a level that has a completely different gameplay feel than the rest of the game. I don't know what it's like, like the equivalent of like a submarine level in Star Fox 64 or or the equivalent.
Well, Star Fox itself, Star Fox Assault on GameCube had those like weird multi types of gameplay.
Yeah, right. Like I just want to say it's something the era did for some reason, and I'm not sure why. It's also like how the 4th level in this game is a stealth level.
Oh boy.
What? John.
Okay.
Pick up the pace. Jesus, John. Slowing down. I thought you're a pro gamer here.
Not at this game. I haven't played this for years.
Not at Turok.
I only own this because I got it like years ago for dirt cheap.
Yes.
And this is the version I bought. So
I'm happy you bought this one though, because this is actually kind of okay looking on Xbox, other than the 30 FPS cap.
yeah.
I think it actually looks pretty okay. All things
Yes.
considered, that's the last one.
That said, I would still say, like, if you're an Xbox owner and you've been playing Halo, and then you come to this game, which, by the way, Halo has persistent worlds, right? Well,
Yeah.
kind of. Like, it streams in each area of the map, and you can kind of go back and forth between them. Things you did in one area remain, and it feels really cool in that regard.
I would definitely say the loading of the areas in Halo is much more seamless than it is.
Yeah, it's just like a little blip. It pauses for a second, then continues. It's pretty awesome.
So
where are we supposed to go?
you're supposed. I think you still have to kill. It didn't play the cutscene for you, right? I still think you have to destroy
No,
one more
okay.
of the things. So I'm looking at your screen right here while trying to. There's. I'm trying not to die, but there should be one more of those big huts that you have to destroy.
It's so stupid.
Yes.
Oh,
There it is. There it is. Maybe they took inspiration here from the comics. Maybe that's what it's about. Like, maybe in the comics, Turok Tulset flies a pterodactyl or something. I have no
maybe.
idea, honestly.
Okay,
I'm not up
so
to
that's
date on my Turok lore, unfortunately.
objective clear.
There we go. So it should be playing now a cutscene on your end.
Yep. You fly into that giant
Thing.
trombone.
Yes. Well, okay, so I think like the level of distance rendering here isn't very good looking. I mean, it's fine enough on Xbox, but when would you say like games started to do areas of this size and looking okay? Would you say it's like GameCube, like Rogue Squadron or something like that, where like these
Jack
size
and
levels-
Dexter, I think, is a really good example. 'Cause it has gigantic maps, and it's all seamless.
I'm really curious
So-
what this area looks on Xbox. Completely different. Oh my gosh. Once again. Just like the color tones are just like not there on PC.
Yeah, I'm so fascinated
You've got
by
like,
this now.
look at that stuff. Like, what is that? Like fog? That ground fog? I
Yeah.
don't have any of that. What? Oh my
makes-
goodness.
Oof. You know what? I'll be honest though. I'd rather play this than Brute Force.
Oh, you just don't
Brute-
like that game,
Dude,
John.
Brute Force is one of those games where I felt like I was tricked by marketing, and that was one of the last times that I let that happen. They were all about, oh yeah, Bungie helped out with the control feel and everything, and you know, they kind of hyped up Bungie's involvement. And you know, I was like, okay, I know it's not really a Bungie game, but whatever.
No, it's not.
But I hate that game. It's so bad. I
would-
don't like it.
I would think we should somehow look at that someday. I don't know, but just like obscure Xbox
We should,
games.
we should.
That's a digital
I'd-
Anvil game, right?
I bet if I looked at it today, I'd probably think it's better than I thought back then. I was just
Yeah.
really disappointed by it at the time.
So
you're
I-
further.
I'm sorry, it's just so easy to get faster there on PC because I don't want to look at how hideous the train is. In some ways, I think due to the issues with this game's visuals on PC, like it does look worse than things like Unreal, and
Yeah,
you know, it's so weird to see a game like
there we go.
there we go. Like I don't think the light maps are working here on PC. Like straight up not working.
Or whatever they're doing.
Oh my gosh. It almost looks bloomy on the Xbox side as a result of those light maps. Something you don't get at all on PC.
This is so strange.
This is so strange.
So is this another thing where I have to go around and
You have to
blow stuff up?
You have to destroy stuff, and then a large airship comes and starts dropping off stuff. I don't know.
This is really just tedious. Like, why did they make this?
And the thing is, like, I don't know if I can communicate it in this video really well, but this game feels almost unending when you're playing it. Levels
Yeah.
go on and on of you doing the
Well,
same thing
this
over and over.
this part
again.
does, but the actual other first-person levels were too short.
You say that, but
Oh.
I got a little bit further in the campaign. I played up to starting of level 6, I want to say, and some of the parts like later on, John, like the frustration level is so huge. They like have a number of areas where you have to just by rote memorization avoid traps and explosions that insta-kill Turok. And then there's no automatic saving in this game, so you just go back to the last checkpoint, which might have been 15 minutes earlier, and you have to do the same thing over and over again. So frustrating, so tedious. Like, sometimes I do like going back and playing old shooters, even the ones that weren't very popular, because I think they have, like, you know, like good feeling, you know, guns usually, good feeling level design. The game just doesn't have any of it. It's like one of those weird cases where time did not make it actually feel better from this era.
Yeah, I agree. This is just a bad game.
Yeah. Wish it was better, because I love Turok, man.
I will say I like it slightly more than South Park.
Yes.
Oh no.
You like it more than South Park, John. That is I have not gone back and played that in a while, though. Didn't we just
we
look
just
at
did
that?
it with Audie, yeah, and it's really bad. It's so bad.
That also uses the engine from Turok, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
And
and it's even on PlayStation.
Oh my god, the Turok engine on PlayStation, that means? That's actually really cool.
Yeah. So we're going to check that out in our next N64 FPS. Sorry, PS1 FPS. We're going to go back and do that. Check and see how it plays out.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if it runs better or something like that.
Hard to say.
Because I don't think
I don't know.
The N64 version ran very well.
So the problem with N64 had a benefit in that you could do really gigantic triangles. And they wouldn't warp or skew weirdly, but on PlayStation, you essentially had you had to almost tessellate your mesh. So as you get close to the player, you had to make a more complex mesh, otherwise it would just warp into the affine texture swim was too severe. And so, but PS1 could push a lot more triangles than N64.
Yeah,
but you kind of had to waste them to make a surface look not wobbly. So, large flat surfaces were actually not easy on PlayStation for that reason. Whereas on N64, that was what it loved. Featureless surfaces.
Yeah, featureless surfaces, like where every N64 game just like looks like the background areas of Turok Evolution. Like, look at this. Like there we go, finally. Just shoot the airship. Just don't stop shooting. Just keep shooting it. Just don't ever stop. That's how you get this level done.
Oh, I just want out of this nightmare. This level. I want to see what's next. The story of Talset must be told. They probably thought this was epic as hell.
Oh, the music here is gunning. Like, seriously.
Yes.
Boom. Did the frame rate drop there?
Yeah.
Interesting. You weren't
was enough to
particularly close. You weren't particularly close to that explosion, though. I'm genuinely shocked that it dropped.
So what am I doing now?
You have to wait for a cutscene to play.
Oh. Skip.
Okay, this is a good as time as ever. John and I are back here looking at the third level of this game, which is thankfully a first-person shooter level. You know, Turok is a first-person shooter.
Yep.
Yeah, if you didn't know, after all that. The one major difference in the PC version that we didn't mention at the beginning of this video that I think you can hear right now as this cutscene's playing, and I'm going to put them back to back so you can listen to it, is just how utterly compressed the audio stream is on PC. It may even be mono. I'm not even sure. But just listen to the way these Dino Boyd things sound on PC versus on Xbox.
We'll overrun these pink insects and be feasting on them for years. We'll overrun these pink insects and be feasting on them for years.
No mercy.
And this, continues to other aspects of the game, like the audio for the music and things like that, which are just so atrociously compressed on PC. And I don't know, John, why would they have done that exactly? PC, you could ship multiple CDs.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I do know that the game is like 2.1 gigabytes on PS2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Xbox version is similar. GameCube would have to be smaller, like 1.4 max, I think.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's 1. I actually can't remember. Maybe it's 1.8. I actually don't remember the size of the GameCube discs, but I will say that I'm a little baffled by the choice. So what do we got here?
We
I
kept
got
this.
the pistol again.
So for some reason, whenever I keep equipping my tomahawk, it just keeps like going away. And
You're not allowed to use it.
I just can't use it. I don't know what's going on. Turok just does not use the tomahawk. And I found later while playing the game on PC, I got further into the game, of course, that after a while, some of my weapons started disappearing from my inventory. Like I lost my pistol
What?
at one point. I lost my basic bow at one point too, and they just don't come back. I don't know what caused that exactly, but see, like right now, like my character shot, even though I didn't shoot. Getting some weird control issues on PC here. These little tiny bots. They're cute. I mean, one other thing I would say that this game really messes up is there's also like, I don't know if you can hear this, but like the last couple of missions have had music in the background, but now on PC at least, I can't say for John, there's just no music anymore, and in the background there's like a vacuum cleaner sound.
Oh, I can't actually hear the sound right now while we're recording, but
I wonder what it sounds like on Xbox.
we'll find out.
That's what it sounds like on Xbox. So maybe it's
Okay.
better, maybe it's worse, I'm not sure. But oh my gosh.
So here we are again.
Here we are again in the featureless landscape that is the Lost Lands. Like,
They should have stayed lost.
these lands should have stayed lost. Like, I really understand the want to make Turok another Turok game and have it being bigger and better than the previous.
Yeah.
But it just does not. One of two switches found. Oh. This is like a Hexen style of one of two switches found. You know, like 6 out of 7 portals have been opened.
Oh yeah.
If you remember
Something
that,
has-
John.
Then you get to the late game and you hit a button. It's like 1 of 25 buttons has been found. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah. True story. John and I almost came to fisticuffs over Hexen on N64.
That's right. That's right. I was right.
John was right.
No. No, it was over the first
music.
stage. I maintain that the N64 has a weird, like, distorted variation of the PC initial stage theme. And we were arguing over whether we could hear it or not. And then that made me realize that discussing things like music and stuff is actually one of the most difficult things you can
it's so
do.
subjective.
Because there's so much, exactly. The subjectivity in it is so significant that, there's no way to come to that much of a scientific agreement necessarily.
But I think actually there was a study in the year 2005 that could scientifically prove that Turok Evolution was a bad game. So there are some objective truths in this world.
That's true. That's definitely one of them. Oh, I found the other switch. Yes.
Yeah. Entrance open. I'm lining these up again. Once again, you have like the movable piece of the jaw there is actually shaded on Xbox and not on PC. There's just like weird discontinuities in the shading in this game on PC. Is this another load area?
I don't know.
Now, I want to praise another thing about this game. Let's just not kill anyone for a second.
Okay.
On Xbox, because it's going to have the best graphics, hit the alternate fire button to use the sniper scope. I don't know what it would be.
No, it's not that.
It's not that. Black button? White button? I really don't know.
It's not
Clicks? The sticks?
Oh, you click the right stick.
Okay, so the view buffer, the buffer distortion there on the thing, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But actually, the equip and unequip animation of the pistol is really well done.
Actually, you're right. That is cool.
That is actually really cool. It looks less cool on PC because the graphics suck on PC. Like, there's just no shading here. Literally no shading. Look at the Xbox version. Completely different looking. But, like, they did that really well. This is, like, one of the few DirectX 8.1 features they had in. It's like this.
Oh, yeah, they
buffer.
left that in.
For some reason, they left that in. I don't know why. And playing the campaign, I did get more weapons. Usually the unequip and re-equip animation for things like the minigun, that's also really cool. So they did that right. I want to I just don't want to be dumping on the game the entire time. Like, there are some really well-made artistic things here.
For sure.
But it's just lost in the mire that is the rest of the game.
It's just a game in chaos.
Chaos.
You can tell that it just, what they were trying to do, it just didn't come together. They weren't able to pull it off.
No.
For, I'm sure, many reasons. And that is a sad thing, because I do think if they had actually nailed this, it could have, I don't know if it would have saved Acclaim necessarily, but it definitely would have helped their fortunes, I think, because first-person shooters were big at that point, thanks to Halo,
sure.
right? And people recognized the Turok brand. And it was popular on N64. They really had an opportunity to make something awesome here. And I think that just trying to stray too far into this type of game, like, the waters were muddied at this point in terms of everybody was trying to figure out what worked. And Halo was big, Half-Life was big. People wanted to do that, find their own spin on it. And I don't think it was.
It just wasn't there.
It wasn't what Turok was ever about.
Yeah, I feel like this strays. I mean, they have the aesthetic,
the
I would
aiming.
say, in a lot of ways. Yeah, the aiming on PC is also just, oh my gosh. Like, they have some aesthetic things that I think that Turok, this looks kind of like a Turok game in some ways. Like the guns kind of look kind of cool sometimes, and you got enemies. Like, the dinosaurs look fine enough, but like, it's just wrapped around a lot of non-Turok feels and concepts.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, this was probably not the direction to take Turok in at this point to be successful. Oh my gosh. So, like, one thing I do like, obviously, is the hyper violence. Like, that dude just had his arm shot off. That's really cool. Sometimes you can, let's do it, like, you can shoot an enemy in the leg enough, and he'll, come on, he'll, like, run away. Like, that's stuff from, like, Perfect Dark. I think that's the influence there.
Yep.
Enemies, when you shoot them in the legs, sometimes they'll limp. Sometimes they'll surrender, like this one is right here. And then you can just execute them. I mean, like, look at these guys. They're all surrendered because they realize Turok is the man. But Turok doesn't care. That's another thing about Turok. Turok doesn't care.
Yeah.
He does what he wants.
Pretty much a honey badger in human form.
Yeah.
Also, I gotta say, like, the aiming on here, like, that's something Bungie did so well with Halo, and it feels awful. Like, you can't, like, the sensitivity and, like, the way the aiming works is just.
Like,
but let me try something here. So I saw in the options menu there was an option for auto aim, and I'm curious to see.
There is also on PC, oddly
what
enough.
that does.
I don't know what it does on PC.
Let's find out.
I can turn off violence, but who would do that? Seriously.
Oh, okay. So that does help, but it also makes it feel it's not. Halo does that fine-tune adjustment. This just sort of automatically homes your shot.
Weird. When I hit that button, it turned off my crosshair for a bit. Now it's back. I have no idea. I mean, the auto aim really does help, though, in terms of making the PC version feel not so jank when you move around. Like, once again, this is me trying to track the mouse left and right.
Yeah,
that stutter you're seeing there, has nothing to do with the way I'm moving the mouse. That's just the way the game's input works. And I'm using a 125 hertz mouse. Like, I'm not using a fast mouse or anything like that. It's not a polling issue. I'm using Windows XP. Like, there are limits. Oh my gosh, the frame rate on Xbox doesn't look very good right now.
That's fine.
Oh, it isn't? Oh, then it's just the stream.
It's stable.
Man, I wish.
But 30.
It's 30. 60, like, it doesn't really break a sweat on PC here, at least in that aspect. 9800 Pro, though, was pretty high-end for the time period.
Yeah, that was a Doom 3 Half-Life 2 era card.
Yeah, it is. You could run Doom 3 pretty well on it. It's like, basically, it's like a later, higher-clocked version of the 9700 Pro. Came out,
which is the card I had at the time.
Yeah, that was also a really awesome card. It's actually quite significantly more higher-clocked than that one. I like the grenades, though, because they look like the grenades from Doom 3 and Quake 2, which, awesome looking grenades.
Okay, so we're getting some combat here. Why don't you proceed through the loading zone if you can?
Oh yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna
already
try
there.
and move forward. Is it just killing the dudes up here?
Yeah, it's just up there.
Okay, I'm gonna
Yeah, it's
Turok.
no, it's down, left, through there. Yeah.
Load.
Okay, now we'll be in the same spot, and it always goes back to the tomahawk.
Yeah, that is weird. And once again, look at the shading. Just
It's not great on Xbox in this scene either, but
yeah, it definitely isn't. But you know, it at least is shading the game. Oh, here's
Whoa,
our
why
first
do I-
T-Rex fight. How do you have a rocket launcher?
I don't know. I didn't pick it up.
What?
That hit the frame rate pretty hard though. There's like a heat wave effect.
Yeah, that
from
there.
it.
You know, like that's something that probably is not on the PC version. Whoa, that actually looks pretty cool though. The heat wave effect.
Yeah, it does. I gotta say.
And like the equip animation for the rocket launcher and like the way it shoves the shell in, very Flak Cannon-esque from Unreal.
Yeah, exactly.
But it looks really good, I think. So like that's what like that looks awesome there actually.
That's not bad. I agree.
It's a little bit long on screen. Maybe it's taking up a bit too much screen real estate, but it looks cool as heck. How do you?
And I have infinite ammo, so
And you have infinite. What the heck? How did you get that?
I'm using the cheat. Remember?
Oh yeah. Wait, you have all the guns, John?
No,
No, you just spawn with
just-
it.
it just keeps adding more to it for some reason.
So I keep losing weapons, and you keep getting them. Of course.
Yep. Ah, lovely. What a game. What
so-
a game.
This is a bit Halo-esque. This area, the way it looks.
This looks extremely Halo right here.
I wonder if that was the direct inspiration, perchance. So for some reason, when I hold down the mouse to aim with the bow and arrow, it drifts to the right. I'm not sure what that's about. Makes aiming even harder, as you can imagine.
I think the rocket launcher definitely hurts the frame rate though. That effect is all-encompassing.
It looks cool as heck, though, man.
It's not bad, I gotta say. It's one of the best looking things in here.
I wish I had one
yeah.
of those. My goodness. Here I should be getting the shotgun anytime soon, I think. Oh yeah, I know where it is.
Oh, can't go down there.
Not yet. I know where the shotgun is. Let's grab it. Should be...
The shoddy. Oh yeah, you can go down here.
Should be like...
Yeah, it's interesting what they're trying to do here
whoops.
with the levels, I suppose. It just doesn't really work overall. Oh, I fell and I died.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's,
as good
there's fall
that's-
damage.
That's probably as good a place as any to call this one, I think.
Yeah, so I would say at the end of this that there are some inspirational aspects of Turok Evolution. I think it's interesting to see somewhat destructible trees and stuff in a game from this era. Some of the enemy interactions are interesting, like how they surrender and how they run away from you, and there's location-specific damage, which once again was not new. That's some stuff that you saw in Perfect Dark for sure, and Turok 2 for Christ's sake.
Yep.
But there's a lot of stuff in here that just seems like it's borrowing from other games from the time, or it just doesn't belong, and it really just makes the game not feel good.
I agree. What a strange project. It definitely it's of an era of acclaim right before they went down, where things were pretty dire. They also made a sequel to Shadow Man, The Second Coming.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is better than this, and it looks better. But it's nowhere near as good as the original Shadow Man either, right? Like it
Yeah.
just felt like they were trying to do their franchises and they lost something. And Acclaim wasn't exactly well renowned during the 16-bit era, but during the N64 PS1 era, they had some good stuff.
Yeah, they did.
I think like genuinely good stuff.
Such a shame that this one isn't good. But, maybe there's going to be some more Turok games in the future. I can only hope there are, because I love that first game, and I think you do too, John. So,
Yep.
But thank you so much for joining me and showing off that Xbox version and all the stuff
course.
that's better than the PC version, like this waterfall right here. If you did enjoy this not serious look back at Turok Evolution, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're already a subscriber, hit that little bell in the corner to be informed as soon as Digital Foundry posts a video. If you want to help us out, support DF on Patreon to get years worth of our content for a high quality for download. And as always, write a comment below, follow on Twitter, und auf Wiedersehen.
I'm not Turok in this game.
No mercy.